Romeo's advert is at the top of that. So,
Woo! Can't wait for another
2
chorus
days.
in 7/8.
2 days. So, Mastodon guitarist recalls the time when they played a few shows for $120,000 and came back home negative $2,000.
Well, I'm not going to say that's your fault, but that's your fault.
Yeah, I'm going to... is it Kelleher?
I think so.
Kelleher?
Bill Keller, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
And the other guitarist is Brent Hinds.
Correct.
And Brent is really into like the southern rock country thing, right? He's made comments saying, I'm tired of playing the metal thing. I don't want to play the metal thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. It's news past me.
It was one of the Mastodon guitarists, and I'm pretty sure it was Brent.
It probably would have been.
Though it totally could have been Bill. Either way, it sounds like everybody in this band is really unhappy.
Yeah. With success comes a lot of responsibility, which they're obviously not that keen on.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it.
So let me read the quote. So I've done the math, and sometimes it's a well-paying job. We did this a couple of years ago. We flew to Australia, and we were going to make $120,000. That was the gross for all 3 or 4 shows. And that looks great on paper. Holy shit, $120,000 for 3 shows. That's great. But guess what? When we ended up flying over there with our crew of 12 guys, because we have to have our crew, our production, our lights, our sound guy, flying all of your gear there, renting stuff, and then internal flights, by the time we got home, our management was making more than we were. They were taking 20% off the top, so $24,000, and we were all negative 2,000. Oh, sorry, he says we were negative 2,000. I assume that's not each, but it's the band. We were negative 2,000. And I was like, how can this fucking be? This is so upside down that I'm just sick to my stomach. We would have never gone over and done this tour if we knew that we were going to come home negative. So what do you think? What do you think about that?
You haven't done the math then, Bill. Your first sentence is, I've done the math.
When you got back.
That's not doing the math. That's going, what the fuck did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Which is you didn't do the math. Doesn't matter what size your band is. If you want to tour and play live shows, that's something you need to consider. The cost of everything. Party Cannon don't have a crew. We do everything ourselves. It's DIY as it fucking comes. Down to relying on venues doing their own sound guys and lights and stuff, which, generally speaking, they do. We're lucky enough that we don't play anywhere that requires you to bring your own crew. And we're not that bothered about having our own crew either. But yeah, if we book a gig and we think this is going to be good, but we really need to try and make sure it's worth our while, then we need to book a few other shows round about it, just as, not collateral, we want to play as many gigs as possible, but you need to take into consideration that if you're going to spend money on flights and internal flights and this and that and blah, 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 then you need to make sure that you're covering your costs for that, and that you're going to walk away at least break even.
Yeah, the problem with this was, he said it himself, like, it costs a fortune to fly all our guys over there. So why'd you only do 4 shows? Because once you're there, like, each additional show is probably going to add your crew's wages for the day and an internal flight. But that's a very different thing to flying across the world. Like, I'm sure I said this on the show before, but the reason there's such a tribute band scene in Australia is because back in the day, bands just didn't go to Australia because it's so expensive to get over there. That's why you've got, like, the Australian Pink Floyd that tour the world.
Yeah.
Because...
And they're very successful.
Yeah.
And they've obviously invested a lot of money in their own stage show to the point where they are world renowned for it, which is incredible.
So 4 shows. And what I actually took from this, and we all know this to be the case, it's that management are scum, aren't they?
Yes and no. I think if management are taking their cut, and that's not, it's quite a lot of money, but compared to the full sum, it's not.
It's 20%.
It's not insane. That's what they agreed.
If
the management booked them the gigs that were going to make them 120 grand, then it was up to Bill and the rest of his band and his crew and stuff, well, actually just the band, to sort something out that was going to make sure they weren't going to come back with no money.
No, I'm shaking my head because it's management that books the gigs. Like, the band aren't booking the gigs.
Yeah, but the band have to say yes.
Yeah, sure. But maybe, well, I was going to say maybe the band is stupid. Clearly the band is stupid.
Maybe the band just need to do the math before.
They should have,
and that's a shame. I don't like to hear
management shouldn't have been booking this, should they, really? But they'll do it because it doesn't matter. No matter what we book, we're going to get 20% off the top.
Fuck
now, Mastodon are what, a 5-piece band?
Yes.
So management alone get 1/5 of everything. So the band members get less each than management gets.
Yes.
Which just, I've always said it's just so unbelievably backwards.
It just depends on the management, really.
I mean, 20%. When I did music business at uni, I was always told that's standard. Like 20%, you expect 20% to go to management. So,
Yeah.
which if they're bringing a lot of value to the table, then cool. But in this case, like they've cost you a lot of money, which is silly. And you also have to remember that Mastodon, they are a band, and that is their job, and that's what they do, and that's how they make their money. It's not like Mastodon have 20 bands that they have, whereas management will. They aren't just making the 20% here. They're making that 20% on many, 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 many bands. It's just, I don't want to say predatory, but I'm going to say predatory.
You're not wrong.
It's unfortunate. And it's the reason you guys do everything yourself, right?
A big part of it. We're happy to do it DIY because it's not on that big a scale where we need management, and it means we've got full control of what we play, where we play, who we play with, who the promoters are, and what the scenarios are, and what bands we're playing with, and all that kind of stuff. But very much so, a big part of it is, can we really afford to be paying 20% out of what we get? Well, not really, because that 20% might be the difference between us getting fuel and not.
Yeah. So this story does go a little bit further, not just with Mastodon though, but with Devin Townsend. And this was, again, 23 days ago. We were going to talk about this last time we were meant to film. And it's good that we kind of left it, because now we've got the Bill Kelleher story as well.
Fits back into us talking about smart business, musicians like Misha.
Yes.
Like Nolly, the finding other avenues of income.
Yes.
And it not being like a greedy thing or a selfish thing, it being a necessity for someone to supplement their income.
Yep.
If you want to be a touring musician. That's how it is. I've got a day job.
Yeah.
Everyone in my band has a day job. I say day job meaning a full-time career that you have to go to.
Sucks.
Well, it could be worse. I could not have a band as well.
That is true. But what you have to take from this, people listening to the show, watching the show, all of you smug people out there that think, and actually I say that, none of those people listen to this show, but like my wife's friends, when you make a comment about the music industry and there's just no money in CDs anymore. Because I often make comments about the fact that I've got like 250 Hellcat Molly CDs sat around my house, right? And they're never going to go anywhere. They trickle out 1 or 2 a month because I don't push it very hard. And they've made money. Like, it's not like they're sat there and they are a loss now. But the point is, when I make that comment, the thing that always gets fired back at me from ignorant people is, yeah, but if you want to make money, what you got to do is you got to go out and tour. Yeah, all right. And they say this because to them, if you want to make money, yeah, all right, people like me aren't going to buy your music anymore. We're just going to stream everything. Most of us just do it for free on Spotify. Some of us do pay that £10 a month for Spotify. I'm now paying $15 a month for Spotify Family. So me and the missus have it. But again, that's doing the artists a disservice, isn't it? So
when it comes to royalties, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Exposure, which is the worst word that's ever been used to anyone in any form of art ever, is the only thing really to gain from Spotify. Unless you're like Wolfpack and you pull a fly one and you put up a silent album and you ask all your fans to stream it overnight.
That wasn't Wolfpack, was it?
It was Wolfpack.
I know a band did it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Wolfpack. But again, I'll leave that to the people in the comments.
They organised a free tour through it. I'm pretty certain it was Wolfpack.
Yeah, so...
But that's a loophole that's now been closed. That was one person one band taking great advantage.
And you know what should have happened when that happened, don't you? John Cage's estate should have sued. Because John Cage owns silence.
That's his thing.
I guess unless it's 4 minutes and 33 seconds long, if actually they own it. Anyway, so Devin Townsend, I toured for 11 months last year, and the band, I don't even know if we broke even. So this idea that there's money in touring, there's 2 ways you have to look at this. You either have to look at this and say Devin Townsend's lying, or you have to go, well, maybe there's some truth in what he's saying. Why is there truth in what he's saying? The only way for a band to make more money on touring now is to charge more for tickets, which consumers don't like.
Nope, it's generally pricing yourself out of the market.
Yes. Or charge more for merchandise, which consumers don't like.
Yep, that's about it.
What's an acceptable price for a band t-shirt on tour?
I would say the general cost across the board is between 15 and 25 quid. Maybe a bit more if it's like a hoodie or a full print, but 20 quid's like the bang in the centre of where you would expect. A cheap one colour print, 15 quid, maybe a tenner if you're really on promotion. A decent quality t-shirt, well screened, good condition garment, 20 quid, 25 quid. That's what I think's where it falls in.
And I'm really glad that you pointed out that difference between like a single colour print, because I'm seeing a lot of bands cutting corners there. They're going for the single colour prints because it's cheaper for them to manufacture so they can maximise their margins. And I'm seeing them at gigs for 30 quid. And
unless that's some exceptional artwork or it's like limited edition and you're in a genre where people collect that stuff, it's not really going to fly. Party Cannon are quite lucky that we fall in the brutal death metal niche where people actually do collect like merchandise and stuff.
Yep.
And there's people that have got like, I'm not even joking, like t-shirts from the 90s of death metal bands who maybe aren't together anymore or didn't release certain t-shirts, they only done them in limited runs, that sell on eBay or like Discogs and stuff for fucking hundreds and hundreds of pounds. That to me is insanity, but it's also good because it means that there's still a demand for it and that people see the value in the artwork itself. But that's not the rule, that is the exception.
Yeah. I think it's a shame that happens, but I understand it when I'm at a gig and I see a t-shirt that expensive. I know it's not, I mean, it is milking your fans, but it's not milking them beyond reason.
No, you're not doing it because you want to try and maximise and get as much money as you can. You're trying to cover your costs and use the money that came from the merchandise, which is any business's plan, is to use your profits to make more profits, to make more material, to fund other things. I've seen a few bands doing like slightly different merch ideas, which is quite good. There's a band that Kieran listens to for Glasgow called Lotus Eater, and they've got a t-shirt out. Kieran's got a t-shirt or a hoodie, and it's kind of like pastel pink, but it's got their logo embroidered on the chest, and it's quite small, but it looks fucking good. And it's different because it's been, obviously everybody else just goes like digital print or a shit screen print. There you go, 30 quid. I don't know what Kieran paid for it. Could have been reasonable, but I like the fact that it was something different.
Yep.
And that stood them apart, at least in my mind.
Yeah. So there we have it. Don't get so uptight about bands charging a lot for merchandise because they're literally just doing it so they can make ends meet, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not easy. If Devin Townsend isn't making money touring, and if any of them not checked out any of Devin Townsend's live stuff, then you're missing out.
Well, here's one question for you, actually. Sorry to pull you away.
Not at all.
Because you're out doing the gigging and touring thing. How often are you finding yourself in situations where the venue has taken a cut on your merch?
Never.
Okay.
No, sorry, there's maybe been once at a festival where what they've done is they'll provide someone to sell the merch for you.
Right.
So they handle all the cash, all the t-shirts, all the selling, so you can just go and do your thing, and they take, as far as I remember, it was like €1 per transaction, which was more than fair.
That is more
than fair.
Over here?
Nothing, actually. I've been lucky enough we haven't had anyone that would do that, and truth be told, I think they would probably just get told to fuck off, and we would just sell the t-shirts out in the car park.
Yeah, and so it should be. But actually, from what I'm hearing from talking to other like higher level bands in bigger that are doing bigger venues, it's pretty standard now. They kind of expect it. So it's another reason why a t-shirt might be more expensive. It's because it's like the old record label 360 deals. Now the venues want their cut of everything as well because they've heard, oh yeah, the bands make so much money touring. We need to get more money from them. More money.
It's fucking insanity. Absolute insanity.
Yeah, you're going to bleed your audience to death. Cool, so there's that.
We wonder why the live scene's dying, yeah?
Yeah.
It's because everybody's trying to take money off it from doing fuck all.
Yeah. So lastly,